Hi, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. So, I've noticed a lot of chatter online about Joshua Baez. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but on Saturday, August 15th, he made his MLB debut with the St. Louis Cardinals. Like the headline says here, that came out on August 15th, 2026 from Yahoo Sports. Joshua Baez becomes first MLB player to hit 3 home runs in the first 3 career at-bats in Cardinals debut. And hey, that's a record. That's a big thing. But will people be talking about that next year, all right, or the year after that? Well, they might if Joshua Baez, continues to be a great player. And he had such a great day on Saturday, you know, but he didn't do as well on Sunday. All right. So on Saturday, August 15th, a lot of people were really spending a lot of money buying his sports cards, you know. And I can relate to that. Hey, he's a great player. But I wasn't buying the sports card. I wasn't jumping into it. And why is that? Well, I've seen a lot of MLB players make a big splash when they come into the league, in years past. And then before you know it, the league moves on and people forget about them. Fans forget about them and, look at somebody else to be, the big player in the league. I could be wrong about Joshua Baez, So I can understand if you want to sit there and invest in Joshua Baez cards at this point in time. And he is, kind of famous, at least for now. But, the issue with baseball is you can go from a hero to a zero pretty fast. And so, we can look at some of these comps, from the last few days. But this was sold yesterday, August 17th. It's 2022 Bowman First Edition that sold for $399.99. Here's a minor league rookie card that sold for $29.99. August 16th, still, a lot of sales. That would have been on Sunday. Here's one that sold for $280. That's his Joshua Baez rookie auto 2022 Bowman Chrome On card, rookie card auto PSA 9. Short print, nice card. Here's a 2022 Bowman Sapphire Chrome that sold for $465. Here's a good sale. 2023 Bowman Sterling Prospects, Joshua Baez on card auto, PSA 10, $599. I like how they put 3 home run rookie on that, And hey, he got a sale, and hopefully it all goes through. Here's another card that sold for $499. That's 2022 Bowman Chrome Joshua Baez Gold Refractor out of 50. So, some people were selling these cards, making some bank. And this is just August 16th, August 15th is when the bigger sales went through. I mean, this sale went through, $5,500, $1,250, so $3,000. So August 15th was really the day to sell your Joshua Baez card if you had one, I didn't have one. And maybe, for the prospectors who are out there, they're going, yep, it all worked out. But the issue with prospecting is more often than not, it really doesn't work out. I mean, I'm sure, on Saturday, you had people, going through their cards hoping they had a Joshua Baez prospect. And maybe they did, The raw cards aren't really selling for that much. But that's kind of the issue with sports cards is, you have all these people who are constantly prospecting, and when something works out, oh, it's time to, sell it, make the bank, hey, you did a good job. I always feel bad for the people who bought it, because they're kind of left holding the bag on these things, I mean, the sad reality with Joshua Baez, is the fact he could get pushed back down to the minors any week, any month. That's always the danger of going 100% in with these players. So let's go to X and see what some people are saying about this. Okay, so this comes from Cardinals Talk. This isn't really about sports cards, but like it says here, Joshua Baez, since hitting 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats, 0-16. And that really seems to be what the talk is about. And so if you want to, invest heavily on, players that have a great day, that's you, but that's never been me. Here's one from the Hook. Joshua Baez, 0-15 since 3 home runs start. August 15th, buyers got to be sweating. Yeah, he posted some picture of some sales. I went over some bigger sales on eBay. But there's just a lot of people who will likely be hurting from this if they bought into it. Like I said, for a lot of reasons. Now, maybe next year, Joshua Baez really comes in strong, plays a full year, for his true rookie year. I don't know. So we'll see what some people are saying here. This just came out 2 hours ago. I was too slow. Put my one and only Bowman Chrome base card on eBay and netted 99 cents. Yeah, I didn't really go over the raw cards today, but I went over them earlier. And if you want to get into a raw card, for base, you're not going to spend much at all. They're not going for much at this point in time. It's really the autos and some of the numbered cards where people are cashing in. Finally starting to feel a little bit better about selling 20 of his autographs a year and a half ago for about $5 each. Yeah, I mean, if you had quite a few of those, that's just it. August 15th, August 16th was your window. By August 17th, the window was obviously starting to close on this issue. We went over those comps. Joshua Baez is 0-15 since his wild MLB debut. And, there's a lot of pessimists. There's a lot of optimists. Here's one from an optimist. Here's a reply. 75% hard hit rate. It's about the process, not the results. It'll even out. And maybe that's the type of attitude that it takes to go in and buy, like one of his cards for, thousands of dollars because he had a good, opening debut. Maybe that's what it takes. For me, that's not enough. Maybe he can only hit against Matthew Boyd. That's pretty harsh, isn't it? Maybe that's it. Huh? He's great at hitting off Matthew Boyd. And boy, the Cubs really just looked bad. I mean, I have to admit, I was watching that game on Saturday. I'm like, oh, geez. They didn't look much better on Sunday, even though, Baez wasn't doing good. The Cardinals were still just whooping up on the Cubs. What will mean a lot is if the Cardinals go all the way, go the World Series, let's say Joshua Baez, is hitting awesome in the World Series, they win. And still, that may not even be enough. And the reason I say that is, Jeremy Pena, with the Houston Astros, he had a great year, when the Houston Astros recently won the World Series. You don't really hear much about Pena anymore, But, that's the danger with these players, is Joshua Baez going to be like Jeremy Pena? He very well could be, Pena had a lot of, chatter when the Astros, won the World Series. And so, people get excited about this stuff, hey, Baez is going to be a great player, you have a lot of people who are optimistic about it. I always feel like you're going to be safer in this hobby if you're a pessimist with these players. And that just comes from, years and years of, watching professional athletes do what they do, and then seeing how it translates into the sports card hobby. I would just sit back before I, dived into purchasing, one of the higher end Baez cards at this point in time. Now, some people might say that's a mistake. Buy now because, they could, shoot up in price, but we've already seen what's happened since Saturday, A lot of people believed that, Baez was going to continue, to hit awesome, and he didn't really do that good. I mean, 0-16, Like it says here, Joshua Baez is 0 for 10 since those 3 home runs. That's baseball, So people really noticed this, that, had a great opening day, and it just fell off the cliff. Here's a post, STL Sports Central. This came out on June 1st. I don't care if he hits 60 home runs down there. Mike Claiborne pours cold water on the idea of Joshua Baez earning a promotion to the St. Louis Cards this season. The power's loud, 16 homers, 4th most in the minors, but with the strikeout rate north of 30%, there's still work to do. Yeah. And so I would just recommend using caution if you're seriously thinking about investing in Joshua Baez at this point in time. Maybe give it a few weeks, maybe give it a month, see how the Cardinals are doing, see how Baez is doing. So just be careful. Anyway, I'd like to thank my subscribers. You're the reason I keep doing this. They're making it more difficult to get monetized, obviously. So if you could subscribe to my channel, if you're a viewer, that would really help me out. Or if you could give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that as well. Anyway, hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.